Hello and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Majid Hussain and today I will be demonstrating how to use hot potatoes with Moodle. Now, hot potatoes is a desktop application which can be used to create quiz questions, and these quiz questions can be imported into Moodle. Now, we're using Google Hangouts on air, which basically means that you can use the chat facility built in to post any questions. You can also make a note of my email address, which is just in the middle there, if you want to post any, email me any questions. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter username is just at the bottom there, and you can use this to tweet us with any questions you might have. So basically today we'll be looking at the hot pot module in Moodle. So there's two parts to the to this application. So there's a module which you have to install in Moodle, and there's also some desktop software which you would use to create the actual quiz questions. Now, there's also the ability to import the quiz questions from Hot Potatoes into your Moodle course, which is something that I'll be demonstrating. And the hot pot module allows you to use lots of different types of questions, so closed answers, mixed question types, matching answers, and many more. The whole purpose of this demonstration is to show how quick and easy it is for teachers to create these questions and also share these questions that they create with their colleagues. So these questions that you create, you can easily email them to a colleague and they can collaborate and build a question repository together, which you can then import into Moodle. So that's something I will also be demonstrating. The hot pot module is also a gradable activity, which is really good because as a teacher you can go into your Moodle course and view the progress of your student and how they're doing within certain hot pot activities. So that's again something I will demonstrate shortly. So there are some prerequisites with this. So the first part is to download and install the Hot Potatoes software, which you can download on your Windows machine, Linux machine. There's also a Java version for anyone using Apple OS X or a Mac. The second part is to install the Hot Pot module for Moodle, which is an official Moodle plugin, which you can download and install. Okay, so the walkthrough summary will go through and demonstrate how easy it is to create these quiz questions using Hot Potatoes, and then I'll show you the step to import these questions into Moodle. I'll also show you how a student would participate within the quiz and how a teacher would view their progress within the gradebook. Okay, so without further ado, we'll close this presentation for now, and we'll go into our demonstration Moodle site, which we've used previously as well. So if you've watched our previous sessions, you'll know that we use the Moodle demo course to create our content, etc. So this is our Moodle demo course, and if I scroll down a little bit, you can see there's 3 different sections here. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add the hot pot activities as homework activities in here. So in order to install import the questions, you must have the hot pot module installed. So if I turn editing on and go down to my Moodle course, and if I click on this plus button here, on most Moodle sites this will be labeled add an activity or resource, but because this Moodle site is heavily developed and configured, it has a slightly different appearance. So here we can see a list of activities and we see the hot pot module. So this option is not available on a standard Moodle. So to install this, you have to go to the Moodle plugins website, which is over here, and if you search for hot pot, you'll find this page here. If I go into versions, you'll be able to see that it's compatible with most versions of Moodle, including Moodle 3 as well, which is good. And there's also the second part is to install the desktop software, which is this is the URL at the top here. It's free software, so you don't have to pay for it, and the download section will allow you to download the latest version for Windows, for Mac, and for Linux as well if you're a Linux user. Okay, so if I go into my course, and I've got editing enabled, but before I do anything here, I need to create my quiz questions. So because I've got the software installed, which is very easy to install, it literally takes a couple of minutes. And this is what you'll end up with, a desktop shortcut. And if I click on this, it'll load up the Windows software here. And these are the different types of questions I can create. So I'm going to create, if you want to create a short answer or multiple choice questions, you would use jQuiz here. So if I click on jQuiz, that will open up a new window. And in here, I can give my quiz a title. Okay, so if I give it a title, this will be Henry VIII. Okay, and then we've got question 1 here. So the actual question would go in this box here. So which one of the below is not a life of Henry VIII? So Jane Seymour. So these are the answers. These are different options here. So we've got A, B, C, and D, and we can add our options in here. So I'll just add another option in here. We'll go with okay, so there's only one correct answer in this question. So the correct answer is given this checkbox here, so then we know that this is the correct answer. And if my students choose this, they'll get this question right. And in here, I can add my feedback as well. So I can say, if they get it right, I can say well done in here. And in the feedback, if they get it wrong, I can give them the right answer, provide them with the right answer. So I can say wrong, and the right answer is Marge Simpson. Okay, so that's that. So I can give the same response for any other incorrect answer. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that in here as well. So that's one question there, one multiple choice question. So if I just save that, that's one question done there. So I'm just going to save it as demo close. Okay, and I'm also going to add another question. We've got these arrows at the top here. So if I click on the up arrow, this will let me add another question as well. So what was the name of Henry VIII's mother? Okay, so the answers would go here. Okay. Populating the answers here right now, and we'll add one more as well. Okay, so these are all my answers. All I do again is just choose my correct answer, and then the feedback for the correct answer goes in this box here. So again, I'll say well done, and then for the incorrect answers, you could provide them with the actual right answer if they do get their answer wrong. Okay, so I've got 2 questions in here, so I'm just going to save this again. So that's been saved now in my documents folder. So if I go into my documents folder on my computer, and I can see all these different files here. So these are all my hot potatoes files, which I've just created today. So now all we do is we go into our Moodle course. Once you've created your questions, we just go into our Moodle course. So we go into our activity, and we add an activity using this button here. We choose hot potato, hot, and then all we do is upload our source file. We don't necessarily need to still fill in the name as well if we choose to get this from the source file. So we specify the name within the source file when we created the the quiz within hot potatoes, so that will be taken from the source file. So all I need to do is upload my source file in here. So again, I can just use drag and drop. So if I go into my documents, and I'll just move this to the right a little bit, and then this is my new file that I've just created. I'm just going to drag and drop this into here. There are lots of other options down here. So we've got entry page, exit page. I don't need to go through these just yet. So I'm just going to do save and return to course. Okay, and that's added my activity within my homework activity section. I can see this by clicking on my section, and I can see that the name has been taken from the source file, so I didn't type that myself. And if I click on Henry VIII, I can then see the questions and the 4 possible answers. I can also click on this button here to see all the questions on one page, which is a good option to have. So we can now, what we can also do is we can add another hotpot activity, and based on the results of this activity, we can automatically navigate to another activity. So that activity could be another hotpot, it could be a Moodle quiz, that kind of thing. So we can configure the settings for that. So if I go into my course here, I don't need this window anymore because I've created the quiz. I'm just going to create another one, and this time I'm going to use jclose to create a gap fill question. So, and this is going to be about World War II. Okay, and the statement will go in here, and then all I would do is choose the words that I want to create gaps from. So World War II occurred between 1939 and 1945. Okay, so this is my statement. So I want to create gaps for these 2 dates here. So I want my students to fill in the gaps. So all I do is highlight the date, and then click on gap, which then creates a gap for me. I can add a clue in here as well if I want to, as a teacher, if I wanted to give my students a clue. But I'll leave that for now, and you can see it's become a red now, which will basically means that this for a student will become a gap, and they'll have to type in 1945 to get full marks for this. I'll do the same thing for this one as well. So I'm just going to do the four numbers here, so the actual year, create a gap, press OK, and that's that done as well. You can add as much text as you want, so it could be a really large paragraph, and you can add as many gaps as you want, really. I've only done a very short example there, and I'll save this as a file, so I'll just call it jclose for now, and then I'll use this as a new activity as well. So I'll just close this again and go back into my course. So all I did was turn editing on, I went into my chosen section, and at the very bottom there we've got a plus button, which is the activity chooser. So if I go into my hotpot activity, and what I can do now is upload my source file again, which is in my documents folder. So this is the new file that I've literally just created, and all I do is drag and drop that into my window here, and if I scroll down, I can now save and return to course. Okay, so if I scroll down a little bit, you can see in the homework activities section, we now have 2 hotpot activities. So we've got Henry VIII, and we've also got World War II. Now, what you could do is you could say, you can edit the settings of Henry VIII and add a rule, such as if a student achieves 80%, then they can move on, then they can be automatically moved on to the World War II activity. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate now. So if I scroll down, you can see there's a heading called exit page, and exit page has a next activity set to next hotpot in this course, and 80% is the mark that the student must achieve. So if my student achieves 80% or more within this particular quiz, they'll automatically move on to the next hot pot activity. So the next hot pot activity is the World War II gap fill activity that I've just created. So if I save this and return to the course, that rule will then be made available. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out and log in as a student to test this, to make sure it's working as it should. So I'm just going to log in as a student. So on using my courses, I'm going to go into my course, and here we have homework activities, and the student can see all their homework activities, including the 2 new ones that we've created using hot potatoes. And if I choose the right answers here, so Marge Simpson, okay, and the next question is Elizabeth of York, and you can see now it's automatically navigated to the next hot pot activity, which is World War II. So I can put my dates in here, so 1939 to 1945, and I can check this as well, and you can see the feedback there is what the teacher provides the student. So that's, as soon as the quiz has been done, Moodle redirects you back to the course main page. And as a student, if you have permission to view your gradebook, you can click on the grades option here, and you will be able to see the grades that you've achieved within those hot potatoes activities, which have a unique icon for that activity. So that's as a student. As a teacher, I can also view the grades as well. So if I log back out and log in as a teacher, I can go into my course, just here, and if I scroll down, go into the grades area, I can see all my students, and I can see all the grades that they're achieving as well. So you can see those 2 hot potatoes activities, and we can see this is a student that we logged in as just now, and this student has achieved 100 for both activities there. So the whole idea with hot potatoes is that it's really easy to use, it's really quick to create your questions, and anything that you create within hot potatoes can be imported into Moodle. So I've only used 2 different question types there, but there are other types as well. So you can have matching answers, a mixed jumble sentence exercise, and I believe this one is like a crossword puzzle, so that's another one that you could try as well. So it works really well on Windows, and it should also work on Linux and Mac machines as well. So yeah, feel free to give it a go, really. So we'll go back onto our slideshow. Okay, so that was hot potatoes. I hope you found it useful. The next training webinar will be held on Wednesday the 25th of May, and on that day we'll be looking at how we set up restrictions and activity completion. So restrictions allow teachers to show and hide certain activities based on a criteria. So you might want to show a piece of work or some project coursework to a certain group, that kind of thing. So that's something that I'll show you. And we can also look at activity completion as well. So that will be about showing students one activity, and if they achieve a passing grade, then they will be able to see the next activity to see to get more progress, basically. So those webinars will be held on Wednesday the 25th of May, and they'll be delivered twice as well. So there'll be one at 8 AM British summertime and 4 PM British summertime. Okay, so yeah, thanks again for watching this webinar. Feel free to email me any questions you might have, and again, you can also follow us on Twitter and tweet any queries you might have. So thank you again for watching, and bye for now.